Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Excuse me. And now for something completely different. Tonight, a little space-based alpha gameplay, because it is showtime. Yeah. Hi, I'm back again. Here we go. I'll read. The tribes of humanity ruined their homeworlds. Oh, the game, by the way, is Stars Reach, if you couldn't tell by the title, which says Stars Reach. The tribes of humanity ruined their homeworlds. Well, we're working on it. Some simply blew themselves up. Others unleashed bioengineered plagues. Some destroyed their climates. Yep. Or let AI go rogue. Working on that too. A dozen different dooms. And the robots came. They arrived from interstellar space and named themselves the Servitors. They lifted our survivors up to the stars. We survivors were put in stasis and carried countless light years before arriving at the Servitor starbase. We're being awakened, but something is very wrong. Bink! Greetings, human. Do not be alarmed by your lack of vision. You were struck by cosmic rays when departing the heliopause from your home system. We apologize, but you melted. Think to myself. Melted? We are happy to offer you a complimentary rebuild of your genetic structure. Kindly identify which human species most resembles what you looked like before you were goo. Think to myself. Rebuild? Here we are. Well, I think I'm, you know, I can't do a Yeti. I can't. We'll just go human, because that's what I am. Unexpectedly, I will be Lens. Good evening to those of you who have joined me. Pardon me as I sip a beverage. Not an adult leisure beverage, sadly. Welcome. You can access the identity kiosk in front of you to modify your form to one that is more pleasing. Choose your species. Terran. We select a new appearance. Male variant? I'm going to be male variant 8. I don't want to be male variant 8. How about 7? No. 6. That one's not bad. So far, 6 is in the lead. Love his hair. Hey, Nod Knox. 4's got the best hair. Oh, Space Helmet Man. And Chubby, too. That's the one. We're good. Yeah, I just did that. Place my targeting reticle over the kiosk. Did that. Press G. Once the kiosk is open, change your form by clicking on the buttons. Revolve the camera. When done, hit escape. Congratulations on your new embodiment. I apologize, but this facility appears to be under attack by the corruption. Make your way through the complex and find me so that you can escape. Okay. Movement. WASD. Yep. Crouch. Yep. Movement feels a little better. Jumping. No surprises there. Climb. The camera jiggle there is uneven. My path ahead is blocked. Target the nearby crate and hit G to acquire the debris tool. I have a debris tool. And you, presumably, well, you might have one. I mean, a shovel's kind of a debris tool. our hands. Let's open the inventory. Drag the debris bar from the inventory to a tool belt slot. How about the first one? Press I again. Each tool belt slot. I have my debris remover now. There's loose debris below the fallen ceiling. I'll shoot it. Servitor, you should now restore your relife animatrix before we continue. Use the relife station by targeting it and hitting G. Save my current inventory state and set my respawn location. I will respawn here, should I die. Unlikely, of course, I never die. Unless you count the infuriating times I died last night. Well done. To test that your pattern is saved properly, please jump into the electrical bombardment in the next room. Yes, this is going to hurt. This is how we learn. Okay. I'll now be restored to the nearest relife station. Relife me. Excellent. You were torn apart and then rematrixed. Your pattern is confirmed. Yes, but do I now have the memory of just dying because I saved before I died? So have I really learned anything? I don't think so. Now I will nano-construct an inventory crate, access it to receive a grapple. And every game is better for having a grapple. To equip the grapple, open your inventory and drag it to one of the wearables slots. Grapple. Grapple. Use R to fire your grapple. Target a wall across the room and you should fly through the electricity safely. I have arrived just in time. Take the portal. The Transplanetary League will help you there once you arrive. I will remain behind and self-destruct the station to prevent the corruption. Oh, I'm sorry that you're gonna blow up. Thanks, I guess. Kind of sad. I have to leave him behind. It doesn't seem fair. I'm off. Ooh, good point. Wearing the red shirt might not have been the best idea. Very solid point. I don't know if either of you ever played. Welcome to the TPL. Congratulations on your arrival, traveler. Please exit the garden into the central hub of the starbase. There, look for the balcony to your right with the mission kiosks on it. Picking a few missions is a great way to get your feet wet. Give it a try. Be sure to equip your new items. All right, we'll do that. I don't know if any of you guys played Star Wars Galaxies. Why am I a female all of a sudden? I wasn't a female a minute ago. I was a male. I'm also not actually walking anywhere. My animations are broked. Okay. I'm going to give it a test. It is currently failing that test. That is an interesting bug, which I will report right now. Yeah, that's a bug summary. I left the servitor behind and went through the gateway to find a complete internal plumbing overhaul. This is not an AI slop game. I mean, I can't speak for sure. I don't think that any of the elements in the game are sloppable, are easily AIable. In fact, I would say they're much easier to just create manually. This is Stars Reach. It's in alpha. It is a game. The primary mover behind the game is Raph Koster, the guy who was the primary mover behind Star Wars Galaxies and one of, if not the primary mover behind Ultima Online. So his gaming bona fides are pretty much awesome. Let's see. I am going to quit back to credits, or perhaps all the way out, I'm not sure, and see what happens when I come back if my gender is swapped back to the appropriate one. No, it's clearly still in alpha. And they just recently had a patch, a significant one. All right, there we go. I do have a minor quibble about the splash page. Those hairstyles went out in the late 50s to early 60s. We don't need them resurrected in Stars Reach. Raph, are you listening? Teleporter accidents, are not uncommon. GFX looks terrible, but alas, I guess this is not for me. Well, I mean, it is still in early alpha. But certainly you wouldn't be the only one. You'll note I am now correctly plumbed. I don't know if they're planning on keeping this cartoony visuals or not. Am I a different guy? I have a different helm. I have the same build. I was kind of a chunky boy. I had a different hat before. That's the only thing that makes me that I'm not sure whether or not. Wait, I have stuff. I have Pete and Clay, Omnishock, Pathfinder. These are tools. I've used them before. Ooh, title select. Yes, please. I do not have a title set. Yeah, the costume is different, but I was a heavy set guy. I don't know what color hair I had. So my assumption is that, yes, it's just a different clothing. I think they said in the right, I'm not sure if it was up above or over here, that we had quest to buy homesteaders. The homesteader shop allows you to buy homesteader options. Now, these are the shops I'm thinking. Starter tools, right. So I think it was above. If you ever played Star Wars Galaxies, a lot of the game systems here would seem similar. Mission boards earn Klaatuus, name that reference, by completing missions. The types of missions you take are dependent on the equipment you have in your inventory. You can have one active mission of each allowed type at any given time. Once you take a mission, go to the planet specified and look for the mission waypoint. Accomplish your mission, then return back. Herastag. Survey, however, tier 3. I don't have any tier 3 stuff. Tier 1. Kill a pathetic ball hive. A metallic asteroid is going to be hitting the planet in 19 minutes. I will kill A pathetic ball hive for 140 Klatus. So we need to go to Haristag. F1 to see the screens. There we go. Let's see. Harvester, Pathfinder. We do have a gun. That go on the tool belt. And the grapple can go in the wearables. Harvester can also go in the tool belt. Terraformer. And the Pathfinder. We're looking for the teleporter to Haristag. This is space movement. To unlock skills. And this shows you, I have 120 in mineralogy already. And basically, as you gain skill points, you work your way down to, for instance, in this case, it's botany. To learn botany, you can learn herbalism. This increases the yield you get from using your skills. This is for harvesting trees, foraging, and farming. Forestry, foraging, farming. Of course. Mineralogy. These are all the categories, right? So we have 120. And it will take at least 300 for us to get refining, and then more to get depositing and chronophasing. Yeah. Those are both the same. This is the meeting room. The lecture hall, if you will. So, we need to find how to get that Hegestag, was it? I can't even remember. My brain is borderline useless. Oh, wrong one. Those were up above. The ecology system. Apparently I do... Oh, I hit the wrong button. I keep hitting the wrong button. Overall planet health, 96.7%. Servitor edicts, I'm guessing those are like quests. Okay, so I assume I'm going to have to go outside and try and find where I'm going. Hegestag, I think it was. Because my brain is telling me there was a way to get to specific locations, but that doesn't seem to be the case. You can be a space gardener. Star Wars Galaxies had like 35 or 36 professions. You know, right there were projectile weapons or ranged weapons, and there were 3 subcategories: pistols, carbines, and rifles. There were 35 professions, I think, and you could mix and match as long as you had the skill points for it. Remember, all the players as musicians playing in the cantina, and dancers as well. You had musicians and dancers. Those were required to heal up some of the combat fatigue that you had, and also to clean damage to your mind pool. You had 3 groups of hit points: health, action, and mind. Health and action could be healed by a doctor. Mind damage could only be healed by going to the cantina and listening to music and checking out the dancers. Have View missions. That's not the missions. Control keys. Go missions. No missions. I don't see missions. Skill trees. Harvester. Pruning shears. Xylo slicer. Space. Final frontier. There were teleporters that would take you places. Because I can go to the planet. And someone has already been digging here because they've mostly hollowed it out. That is another player, I think. Good evening to you, Mr. the Dude. Yeah, that is another player. It's in alpha. I have played it and streamed it in the past. Oh, we have... Aha, we do have a tracer point. Okay, good. Yeah, and this will teleport us where we need to go. It is in alpha. It has been kickstarted successfully. The primary mover behind the game is Raph Koster, the guy behind Star Wars Galaxies. There we go, Haristag, and Ultima Online, or at least one of the people, Ultima Online. And Unity has crashed. Alpha. I am waiting while it is sending off the Unity data back to home base. And we restart again. Alpha game's gonna alpha, you know? It is very much trying to seek the sandbox vibe the original Star Wars Galaxies had. At least systems-wise, not graphically. It is in the name. Alright, so we have teleported to the place we were going. Welcome to Haristag. Current major is P0 poison. Population is 63. Current edicts, I'm assuming that means things they're looking for. Freshwater and striped maple wood. I am here to kill a critter. What is the critter again? Oh, view missions. I'm here to kill a pathetic ball hive, tier 1. Close. Actually, yours sounds way more dangerous and cool. Oh, it's 260 meters in that direction. GovBot and citizenship. GovBot lets you participate in a planet's government and unlock new features. Become a citizen at the GovBot to vote in elections and help shape the world. Contribute resources to level up the GovBot and earn citizenship points for rewards. Mayors and authorized citizens can approve applications, set planet permissions, like mining, homestead placement, and tweak settings. Elections tally votes periodically, and a mayor is chosen from citizens. You can renounce at any time, but you'll lose your citizen progress in this world. Yes, one of as examples of the things that were notable, Star Wars Galaxies had the best crafting and harvesting system of any game ever, and that's a period, full stop. Have you ever known the name of a best crafter on any MMO? Because the two best weapon crafters in my Star Wars Galaxies server that I was on way back when were Smith & Wesson, and then later on with a little help from me. Striker Kevorkian. A lot of gathering or crafting. Yeah, a lot of crafting and gathering, but the thing is to try and balance it out with other types of gameplay like Star Wars Galaxies had with ooh, we do have the gun out, don't we? Do I not have my gun out? There we go. I have my gun out. The Omni Blaster fires homing projectiles. Get your reticle near a target before firing so the projectiles can lock on. E and Q are special shots, where you can apply specials in the combat tree. Well, those are Chuck and Clogs, and they have aggroed on me. We have an Artie Hog. Would you die, please? Thank you. We have another of the ball hives. That's the one I came here for, was the ball hive. I've completed the mission. Now, the reason this terrain looks all kind of weird is because people have been digging here. Had a lot of really cool mounts that multiple players could ride. In Galaxies, maybe some of the higher end ones later on in the game. I played mostly in the earlier part of the game. For instance, when there were no mounts at all, and then the only mounts were pets. Only later were there speeders. What odds here then you find that as an attractive prospect as you found the Guild Ward mission structure, and that's completely cool. The old saying, different people can enjoy different things. But what it had along with the best the best crafting and harvesting system, the flexibility of the skill system was incredible. There was no loot from mobs other than very rare mobs would drop useful crafting items. And you could harvest bone, meat, and hide from creatures, and also you could farm. But what it had is because of the interdependence of the crafting systems and the skill point limitation, and you could only have one character per server, it meant that you couldn't do any crafting without getting stuff from other people. And it had systems for setting up stores inside your house. It just had a lot of really great in-depth game systems placed in a Star Wars world. The hover cars and vehicles, yeah, those came in later. I guess I can cash it in here. Missions. Oh, very nice. So did I get my credits then? Or whatever it's called. There we go. Turn in the complete. There we go. I would like to view more missions for this world. Let's see. I do not want to kill a formidable Thunderhoof because it sounds formidable. Survey. Tier 1. Let's try surveying. Let's check what things we have that we can survey with. Finding a MacGuffin, yeah. Well, the mission system in Star Wars Galaxies was really primitive. It was all go to a location and kill the mobs and destroy their nest or their building, that kind of stuff. Very basic. That's the missions. That's... let's see, where's the crafting stuff again? Skill trees. Okay. So, for instance, yes, the Omni Blaster. Thank you, we know. I got 140 combat points. We have playtest specials. That's nice. Omni Shock. Companion Orbs. Combat playtest specials. Testing weapons in balance. Combat tactics is a work in progress. These are all works in progress. Keep in mind, it's an alpha. I don't have enough points to get any of the goodies from there yet. Ranger. Ranger Danger. Trailblazer utilities. It's been unlocked. I have 240. Not enough for anything there. Surveying. I have unlocked surveying. Alright, the surveyor is... maybe none of those. Harvester harvests material. Terraformer. Does that have... scan results? Yeah, I think that has what we need. So we'll try the Terraformer. Anything else in here? Camp kit? Excavates resources. Tab for resource selection for prospecting. Prospecting pulse is E. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to empty out the hopper. When you harvest, you pick up a lot of stuff that you don't want, and that just goes into the hopper, and it takes up space, and you have to drop it. Oh, my hopper is empty. Oh, I guess where I would have had stuff in my hopper was from cleaning up the rubble on the base, but I teleported, so I've got new stuff, so everything is fine. Currently, we are set to Aquamarine is what we are prospecting for. A little bit of flickering there, you may have noticed. Let's see. What are we supposed to find? Survey Tier 1. I guess I just have to survey? Well, let's see if we can find something useful. Copper? Gold? See if there's any iron around, maybe? And it is prospecting pulse. I have sent out a pulse. 199 meters away. Somebody dug a convenient hole in the ground. All right, well, there is a critter over there. You want to be careful around critters because they can be hostile. Come on, come get some. Oh, he's bad. He's not pleasant at all. I am not a fan of his. I'm on fire. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'm certain it's going to be fine once I'm out of fire and not dead. Can I finish him before he finishes me? The answer is just barely. There's never any doubt about it. Had it the whole way. Fine. It's fine. He set the cactus on fire. One of the issues I've had with the previous versions is that the mobs were too dangerous and too aggro. Since we're all trying to just play this game and get the hang and help them polish systems and bring them online, having the critters be much better at fighting than us, generally speaking, I think kind of retards our ability to play the game and find out what we like or don't like. I recovered glass. Did we actually finish that mission? Survey. I think I finished it, but I'm not sure. So, what have we picked up? We've got some glass, some granite, some feldspar, a little ceramic, quartz crystal, mica, and cassiterite. But we're still getting the indicator for the mission, so I'm going to assume we have to continue harvesting stuff up. The indicator to the right of my character is how full the hopper is. I'll show you the hopper. I'm leaving the mission area. Okay, how about I step back in? Is that better? So the thing about a game like Star Wars Galaxies is that there's really no telling what people are going to want to play. One of the sort of big moments in the game came when they completely revamped the game experience. And in essence, alienated everyone who enjoyed the game. And the reason behind it was pretty simple. World of Warcraft had come out. And one of the people at Lucas basically said, what the hell is going on? We've got Star Wars. These guys have some weird thing just running around, and they are making 10 times as much money as we are, more, maybe 100 times much money. So let's make our game like theirs and take away everything that the people who love our game love about it. That Jump to Lightspeed expansion where you got flying spaceships, that was indeed, and that was about 2 weeks after I quit the game. And I came back, but the reason I quit was quite specific. I discovered something. The reason was there was this belief that they had to get Jedi into the game. And so they were forced to put in a sort of half-assed system to open up an additional character slot on the server called a Force-sensitive slot so you could create a Jedi. And what you had to do is there were these things called holocrons. And I mentioned earlier there were like 35 plus professions. And you'd open a holocron and it would tell you one of the professions. And you would have to master that profession, completely master it, which could take anywhere from like an hour to several days. And by several days, I mean it could require you to buy or otherwise acquire a good deal of materials and then grind through something for 12 hours, 18 hours, a long time. So you would then open up a second holocron, and in my case, a third, and then the fourth holocron went silent. That meant there was one more profession you had to master, but they weren't going to tell you which. And so I got to like 26 or 28 professions mastered, and I was burned out on the game. I'd spent months grinding through profession after profession after profession, trying to get lucky. The first one was bioengineer, which was incredibly grindy, and I hated when I got it, but it's the most fun I've ever had in a class in a game. Any MMO, certainly, ever, much to my surprise. Second one, I believe, was doctor, which was very fast grinding. No, second one was carbineer. The third one was doctor, I think. And that was very fast. Carbine was just killing creatures repeatedly, taking missions to kill creatures and killing creatures. But I was burned out, and so when Jump to Lightspeed came out, I was already out of the game for a couple weeks. Let's see, Harvester and Pruning Shears, Terraformer. Scanning for resources. Well, you have the Terraformer equipped, you can scan, left click, press E. When you're far away from a resource, you'll see the indicator. Eventually you get close enough that the pulse will reveal the actual deposit locations. The hopper, press Q to dump the hopper. Well, I do want to dump the hopper, so we're going to hop over here, and we're just dumping all of the crap. Wow, they've made that much faster. Thank you. Oh, and it doesn't leave as much crap around. That is so much. That is such a huge improvement over the last time I played. That's one of the things I complained about from multiple playtests. That the hopper was just a miserable experience. Supposed to be looking for something specific. I didn't think so. Survey Tier 1. But I can't get any information about it. My only option is to... It's got to be something that's here, though, because this is where the mission indicator is. So we'll just keep digging and... for a bit longer. I discovered sand. No one in the galaxy had found sand before, but me now. I assume you're all duly impressed. I'm not certain that I know exactly what I'm supposed to be finding. I'm at the survey point. That display is not staying up very long and is not helpful. Let me see if I can... Okay. Alright, so maybe it's just telling me that I have to come here first and then keep hitting... following this. Okay, maybe that's it. I'm leaving... It says I'm leaving the mission area. Whoop. Okay, I think that's just for what I have selected, which is iron. I've entered the mission survey area. Well, if we have something else, let's say aquamarine, and that does get us to a different location. It certainly seems like... maybe that's not survey. Oops, wrong button. Terraformer. That's scan for... That's not actually a survey. Which one's the surveyor then? Okay, for the skill trees. Let's see, surveyor. Ranger surveying. I already have the skill. How do I use the skill? I do have enough mineralogy now. Maybe I can buy something. I could get something. Woo! Sorry. I can only add skills like, in a town, in a skills kiosk. Got it. Okay. So, Ranger is surveying. That's not the Terraform. Is that the Pathfinder? That Might be the Pathfinder. Locate survey nodes. Dun 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 dun. Brain am working. Find survey node, equip the Pathfinder, and listen. Increase in pitch and frequency as you get closer. There it is. There we go. I've completed the mission. I will now swap back to the gun just in case something decides that it doesn't like me. Although I can't for the life of me imagine how something wouldn't like me. Except maybe the Guild Wars 1 devs if they were listening to me swearing last night. Almost there. We're almost there. Okay, and we'll turn this in. We'll have completed another mission. We'll be rich. You find Guild Wars 2 to be a less frustrating experience than Guild Wars 1? Well, the thing was is that the Guild Wars 1 frustration didn't really kick in until I hit a couple of mechanical choices that were foundational to the design, like the death penalty. The death penalty is so punitive that you can fight your way like I did through a whole bunch of fights and die. Have your party res you, whether you want them to or not. Die, res, die, res, die. And then once all the party is wiped out, you go back to a res spot, and now I can only do half damage and I only have half life. And I'm a big part of my group's damage. We have no chance of getting through. The only thing I can do is go back to town, heal up, and now fight all the way through it again. Now, I want to note, I was watching Loranity earlier. It gets worse when you're in a mission. Party wipe means restart. Yeah, that was what happened to me last night. That's exactly what happened to me last night. And I was watching Loranity earlier this evening. She got to the exact same place. Actually, I got further than she did on her first go. She was playing with other players, not the companions, the AI companions. She was playing with other people, and they wiped, and had to go back to town and start over again. And then they got a little bit further than I got, and almost wiped the second time. And she's playing with real people who are experienced with the game. She's got 1,000 hours in the game, and she had to wipe and restart. For me, that is not a style of gameplay I enjoy, like, at all. I hate running back through stuff I've done. I hate fighting through the same content multiple times to try and get to an endpoint. Those are just gameplay styles that I just don't have the patience or the time for. But you exactly described what it was. It was in Kaineng City, in the underground, in the sewers, and I died once and was working my way through, and I was on sort of this elevated area, and mobs that were below me, out of sight, a level below me with a wall and a bunch of floor between us, started attacking. And then we aggroed another, and then we didn't aggro. I didn't aggro. Either they passed onto us or one of my companions aggroed a second group, and that was it. And it was either restart for, start for a third time, or just give up. At that point, I just gave up. It's just not. It's kind of core to the gameplay that the maps respawn with all the mobs again. Although I will note that Loranity noted that when she went through the second time after wiping, the mobs that wiped them were gone. They had not respawned. All the rest of the mobs had respawned, but the mobs that wiped them had not respawned. But that is it is several mechanics that I don't like. I don't like fighting through the same batches of mobs multiple times, and the fact that basically I get downed and it's going to be a wipe and my numbers are reduced in half means I have to start the whole thing over again. That is just, it is the same sort of reason why I'm not interested in playing the Souls-alike games. Fighting the same thing over and over and over again, I do not find it fulfilling when I finish. I understand, for instance, players who are playing the Dark Souls games, and they fight a monster and they die, and they die, and they die, and they get to the second phase, and then they die, and they die, and then they get back to the second phase, and they get a little further, and they die. And they die just repeatedly, and it takes them 45 minutes, an hour and a half. They finally beat it, and they get that huge rush of endorphins in their brain. And that's what they enjoy. I don't get that rush of endorphins. I just get, thank God the pain is over. So I don't get the high. I only get the low. I get the frustration and not the woohoo. So that kind of gaming is just antithetical to me. Now, there's not much of that in Guild Wars 2, fortunately. My frustrations in Guild Wars 2 are very situational. Sometimes I hit specific things that drive me crazy. That design choices I don't agree with, but they are not the same sort of foundational, baked in from the very beginning of the way the game was designed, inescapable things like the things I see in Guild Wars 1, which for me are deal breakers. Look, there's 5,000, there were more people playing it today than there were on Friday or Thursday or Wednesday. They hit a new high on Steam of 5,500. Look, it's a terrific game. But those certain types of mechanics just aren't for me, the same way the Dark Souls games aren't for me. And the same way, even though it's a game I would love to play, Expedition 33 is not for me. I hate real-time, parrying-based, reaction-based gaming. I'm an old man. I'm not good at it. The rest of the game is turn-based. But in combat, your defense is timing and reaction-based, and I'm just terrible at it. So I won't play that game. It's not a reflection on the game. The game is going to be Game of the Year, and from what I can tell, earned it. But I won't play it because of a foundational, fundamental mechanic in the game being one I'm either bad at or don't enjoy, or both. In 2005, you loved it, but these days you tend to agree with me. Restarting takes the win from the sales. Only level 15 in Guild Wars 2. Things seem okay. Nothing too complicated yet. And a lot of the mechanics in Guild Wars 2, are, if you've ever played like WoW or Lord of the Rings Online, Final Fantasy XIV, any of the sort of this is not a term of degradation, of WoW clones that have a lot of the same foundational stuff. The hotbars, the leveling, the way you get your skills, the combat stuff. They're all similar, not identical. But Guild Wars does a lot of the fundamental stuff different from those. And that can be very off-putting for people, and I understand why. Someone who's played the more standard tab targeting MMO, like a WoW, Final Fantasy XIV, and they come to Guild Wars, and Guild Wars does some foundational and fundamental things very differently. Certainly there's going to be a period of confusion and adjustment, and some of them aren't going to like it. And that's not to say that they're bad at judging games. They just don't like the differences. They like what they have, and they don't like the way they do it in Guild Wars 2, and that's perfectly normal. So there is an adjustment period in Guild Wars 2. When I first played Guild Wars 2, I got into the first publicly available beta by buying the game. I got in, and 2 hours into the game, I thought I'd made a mistake. I thought, I don't understand what the fuck is going on here. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. The weapons have different abilities. It's what? And this just, I don't get it. And about 4 hours in, I finally started to go, oh, Oh, okay. All right, now I get that. Yeah, that's okay. But just as easily, I could have hit the 4 hours, started to understand what it was doing, and said, "Oh, I get it. That's dumb. Why are they doing it that way?" The game worked for me, and so I've, since then, 5,000 hours. Now, there was another period in Guild Wars 2 where I was playing occasionally. I had maybe 500 hours in the game, which is, that's me getting my money out. Wooden Potatoes did a series of videos, I don't know, 8 years ago maybe, on open world and story based builds, one for each class, with like an hour and a half video for each and an hour and a half sort of setting the foundation for understanding those videos. Not only were those builds ridiculously better than what I had thrown together myself, which is good, but that wasn't enough to pull me all the way back in. They explained things well enough to me that I finally actually understood what I was doing. That changed my approach towards the game. Now, that is, to my mind, one of the things Guild Wars 2 has still as a problem, is there is sort of a learning wall. There's this first little wall you get when you first get into the game. Once you get over, you're okay and you're fine, and you're tootling along through the story until you get to about level 80 in the end game, when you hit basically what amounts to a second wall. Things get harder, and if you haven't developed some sort of, again, foundational understanding of how the game works, it's going to feel like a pretty big wall. So they've done a lot to make that wall less steep or sharp, and they're to be commended for that. But it is a game with a significant learning curve. Good information for someone just getting into it. You're welcome. There are good sources out there. I'm not sure they were all around when I first got into the game or even later. And that the wooden potatoes bit is an actual, that's a real total thing that changed my opinion on the gaming. There were no good sources for builds at the time. There were no good sources for, specifically, there still can be hard to find open world and story builds, for soloing, for going through the storyline, for doing map completion, stuff like that. Most of the build guides that are out there are for endgame raiding or running fractals, endgame activities where everyone expects that you're going to at least be competent. You don't really have to be good to get to level 80 or even do the stuff after, but it's more fun when you understand what you're doing. All right, we located the survey nodes. What else have we got? Let's go ahead and save me here. I don't want to go to deep space. I'm going to take another mission. I would like it for Haristag, please. Let's see. I don't want to kill a formidable thunderhoof because that's got a special name. A dangerous ball hog. That is a reference, whether you know it or not, indirectly to Lord of the Rings, but directly to Board of the Rings, the parody of the Lord of the Rings. Let's see. We have a survey. Well, let's do another survey. Now that we know which tool I need. Surveys. Where is it? Come on. Got to be around here somewhere. What direction is it? I wish the messages that were popping up would stay up a little bit longer. They go ba-doop and they're gone. I will give them that feedback. This is a player's home, I believe. Player housing was a big deal in Star Wars Galaxies, and you could form player towns, player cities as well. Hello there, Lone Star Wolf. Is that 28? I think it's 28. And there's another player, and he is indeed, he's building his house. Laying down the floors for his house. Let's get out our gun just in case. All right, we're close. We will whack out the Pathfinder. Is that it there? No, that's the one we already found, I think. Yeah, that's the one we found previously. Need to unlock. Alright, let's check it again. Finding the node, record the node, close to the survey, and click on it using the left mouse button. Pathfinder, survey notes, record the node, get close to the survey node, and click it. Apparently no way to disable a waypoint. You can only have one personal waypoint at a time. Survey the map. I'm leaving the mission space. Yeah, that is correct. I think I need to visually find. It should look shaped similar to that, but have red glowies. Whoops, something's flying overhead. Or I guess maybe it's just the sun is setting. Oh, that was it. Okay, that was it. We'll get out the gun just in case. Work our way back up the razor edge here. And we'll cash in the quest. We'll see where we are in experience points. So the game still has its obvious rough edges, but alpha, so that's to be expected. $198 Klatus. I am wealthy. So, mineralogy is 548, ranger is 360. Maker scanning, scan for makers. Looks like most of the rest of surveying is still work in progress. But you should be able to get that. That's right, we have to be over here, I think. To do my civic duty. Welcome to Harrowstag! Current mayor is poison. Sure, I'm going to become a citizen. I'm now a citizen of this world. I can vote in elections, contribute to level up the GovBot, and, if authorized, help manage planet settings. Open the GovBot to explore more. Okay, so needed for the next level. Metal is complete. We need gems. We're at 25,000 out of 46,000. Citizenship granted. Yeah, we know. I don't think I have any gems. I could give them a lemon. Is a lemon... no, okay, that's not gem. Feldspar, Harrowstag glass, mica. Don't think any of that is actually gems. So someone or a couple people have built houses, or maybe that is a house where they have 2 plots or 3 plots consecutively. Trying to read that. The state of my personal belongings have been preserved. Okay, in the save game function or save character function right there. Heal a roach. I don't have the tool needed for healing a roach. Also, ew. Harvest. Find a MacGuffin. I don't think I want to mess with any tier 3 killings of stuff. Well, I'm a citizen, so I can build a house. Can a guy get a little light? That's better. All I had to do was ask? That's... Uh-oh. It's a brute hog, and it's aggroed on me. I got some helium and some raw alien meat. And I don't know what that was. Boosted. Ground speed. So that was a boost. So mobs can drop boosts. That's similar to the original City of Heroes. They would drop basically power-ups. Let's see. That's the title select. Camp kit. I don't want to use a camp. I want to build a house. How do I build a house? Well, this is an unfriendly neighbor. I mean, look at that. He just builds walls instead of building doorways. The Jackalope. Fear of humans has gone too high, and they've created a psychic defender. The horror is now on a rampage, and a TPL waypoint has been added to your HUD at that location. The horror has emerged. Oh, there it is. It's over there. Wonder if anyone is headed that way. I'm going to head that way just to see if we can get a look at the horror. Bloop. Bloop. I think I can see it there in the distance. That's the Jackalope horror, and it's pretty big. It does indeed look like a jackalope. Like an enormous jackalope. I don't see anyone else attacking it. So I'm going to assume that that is a solid piece of advice. Is that a critter over there? Jackalopes, I think. Little jackalopes, not the jackalope horror. I do have the grapple. R is the grapple. Thought it was G. It's R. this guy has created a multi-floor. Oh, guy's got a nice house. Cannot lie. Multiple levels. He dug deep down into the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Moria. Impressive. Very nicely done. Let's see. Harvest. Do we have a lower tier harvest? That's tier 3. Can't heal. Well, we can go ahead and accept that one, I guess. A few more Klaatu's never hurt anyone. What is up? Space. It's not just the final frontier anymore. Uh-oh. Those are brute hogs. Ball hogs. Sorry, ball hogs. It is an alpha game. Stars Reach. I would say still early alpha. They're still hammering things out. It's going to be a sandbox. Extremely sandboxy. All right, I've entered the mission area. We will pull out the Pathfinder. And there is our target. I have found it. Pull back out the pistol just in case bad things come. Oh, that is the other. That's the right. That is the mission marker for the Jackalope Horror, which essentially I want nothing to do with, because he's got chunks of guys tougher than me in his stool. Turn in that quest. Maybe try another planet. See what another planet might have to offer. Yeah, it's not done. I mean, there's not done and there's not done. This one is still in early alpha. There are significant number of improvements over some of the previous versions. I'm going to go to deep space. As I was about to say, crashing when going from a planet to deep space is not uncommon, as we see here. So it is sending the information back and dying, and I'll restart. Like I said, alpha. Definitely alpha. I'm going to take a sec while it's rebooting and refill my coffee cup. I'll be right back. And I am back. And I should be back now in deep space. I am in deep space. All right. We'll head back to home base. Definitely movement is much smoother in space. Let's see, those were missions. What else did we have? We had purchases, right? Didn't we? That's the ecology system. Yeah, those are both the ecology system. Where we came in, over here we've got skill unlocking. Right. So we've got 548, which means that we have enough. We can unlock refinery, which allows us to transform resources into other resources and alloy. I have learned the refining skill. Unlocking a bunch of recipes. 480 in Ranger. Okay, so there's nothing further unlockable presently in surveying. And in... oh, that's Ranger, right? Neurology and combat. And all of the specials... oh, are not unlocked. I only have 248. 223 in combat, so not enough to open up any of the special attacks on the guns. These are the same, presumably. They are. That's that. Over here, that leaves us with... I remember what's back here. Stores, I think, right? Yeah, starter tools. Let's see. Harvester to... okay, I've got all of those. Yeah, I do. To buy titles. Buy titles you can display to other players. Cheapskate, 1 Klaatu. Sold. I'm a cheapskate, guys. In case anyone had doubts. Buy homesteaders, 2,000 Klaatus. Ah, I guess that is to buy, basically a plot of land. To claim a plot of land, I'll need 2,000 Klaatus. Well, let's choose another planet other than the one we were just on. Go to a different planet. We were on Haristag. How about Barakatus 3? Ooh, Barakatus. We're heading to Barakatus, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are headed to Barakatus. All right, it is... the gateway is over in that direction. There's another player. Okay, well, that guy got aggro from a space mob, so I'm just going to head back to Barakatus. Will we crash again? Might. So far, we're 2 for 2 on crashing this evening. I've seen the problem in... We are 3 for 3 this evening in crashing. So we'll dork around on Barracadas for a while after I reload, and then I'll probably call it an evening early. And it should be dying in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's loading. You can tell on account of the way it is. Hey there. We'll select lens. But now we should be on Barracadas 3. It's thinking. It's attaching the camera. Now I'm back in... This is the gear I had on originally when I designed my character, chunky boy with that helm. The current mayor is Dr. Drake Velot. Population is 139, and I believe that's real players. These guys are way more well established, as you can tell from the houses being built here. You may notice they've got bridges and floaty space houses. Quite a difference between this and that shithole I was just in. I want to become a... Oh, I must renounce. I have to go back? Oh, all right, fine. We'll go back later. And here we are. We've got a survey mission in this direction. People are not screwing around here. They're building some stuff. That thing is enormous. That is the Horde Master. Big, unpleasant, unhappy monster. I'm assuming unhappy. It might not be. Maybe it's a happy monster. I don't know. But he's big, and if he thinks I look delicious, I imagine he'll kill me. Actually, that is him. Oh, the Horde Master is up. Right, that's not my actual quest. That is the dynamic quest for the Horde Master. The big purple monster, in fact, is the quest. My quest is in exactly the opposite direction. Yay. But here you can see, I think, I get a better idea of what the designers are hoping for and looking for, right? You've got significantly larger, more established buildings. People here have been playing a good amount of time, and you can see the results. Pardon the yawn. Old man is old. Make sure you got your gun out, old man, just in case. Alright, looks like we're clear. And there is... I have completed it. I don't know, those mushrooms or something? Yeah, some kind of plant life. The beam of light there is basically the city center. Whoops. Yeah, I took a big chunk of damage, so I'll walk it off. And somebody has a shop. They have conveniently titled it Shop. Let's set our respawn here. Let's see. Ah, so this must be the city hall. Yeah. More for Barracadas. Kill a mostly harmless arty hog. I haven't tried a harvesting. Let's try a harvesting. But I also want to look at the shop, which is clearly labeled as shop. Where presumably one could buy things. Access to the vendor. There we are. He is selling things. And here you can see that items have different stats on them. And that depends on the materials you make them with. You use, I'll use the, describe it the way it is in Star Wars Galaxies. Star Wars Galaxies, let's take something that we want to make an electrical dongle, right? So you need, the electrical dongle wants conductivity because it's electrical. So you look at all the list of metals, and you know, copper tends to have high conductivity. So you do a scan and see for metals, and you choose coppers. And oh, there's 3 different kinds of copper on this planet. And you scan for each one, and you get a sample, and you find which one has the highest conductivity. And you use that, you harvest enough of that to make your electronic dongle. Now, your electronic dongle is used in a blaster, but it's just used for the battery. It also has a barrel and ammunition, and the barrel wants materials with very high toughness, and the ammunition wants materials with high volatility. And so you track down those materials. And depending on the numbers for the conductivity and the volatility and the toughness in those 3 parts, the higher the number is on each of those plays a part in the final value of your blaster. And so here it is, depending on the materials you use, you have potential, quality, resilience, and versatility. And each of those will affect the way these different devices behave. One may do the same thing faster than another, but the other one, let's say you're digging for gold. One may dig faster and give you less, while the other one digs much slower and takes more energy, but it returns more. And depending on which numbers are important to you for your playstyle, you may have very different desires in your blasters, your shovels, your whatevers. This has been my TED Talk. So that's where you get the depth and crafting, is there are items that help you craft, and then there are the materials that you're crafting. And you can have skills that will increase the final outcomes of things. Plus, you can twiddle where you want to put, in Star Wars Galaxies anyway, where you want to put your construction points. You may have 20 construction points to use, but maybe there's 40 construction points that could be spent, and you have to decide, do you want to shoot your gun faster, or do you want to do more damage with individual shots? Do you want it to last longer? Those are the decisions you make when you're crafting in a game like Star Wars Galaxies, and in the end, hopefully, with a game like this. All right, I'm supposed to harvest, right? Harvest is probably the harvester. But we have our gun out. We want to keep our gun out because, you know, danger is everywhere, man. So the harvesting is about 300 meters away. A meter is about a yard. 1.1. I believe 39.37 inches, if my memory is correct. I memorized stuff like that when I was a kid because I'm crazy. .54 centimeters to the inch, 0.62 miles to the kilometer. Badoop. Okay. We will now swap over to the harvester. Harvest plants, materials from bushes, mushrooms, flowers, and logs. I can't harvest it anymore. The Horde Master is still down there, 200 meters away. I'm sure he wants to eat me. I'm sure he'd find me very delicious. Let's see. Oops. Light falls pretty quickly around here. There doesn't appear to be anything specific here that I can harvest. Oh, there's that bush. I have discovered strawberries and completed the mission. Strawberries. The Horde Master is going away in 45 seconds. Strawberries, not actually strawberries, I don't think. Ba-doop, doop, doop. That's missions as well, right? Complete. Find a MacGuffin. Kill an arty hog. Oh, heal an arty hog. Let's see. Kill a dangerous acid fish. That sounds acidic. Find a MacGuffin. I haven't found a MacGuffin yet. I haven't found anything yet. Well, I mean, I just found some delicious strawberries. We have another vendor. The harvester. We did the harvester, thank you. Fortress shield. Got barrels. I'm not sure if these are gun barrels or barrels for holding things. I'm going to guess gun barrels. Because he also has a power chamber and an energy sequencer and a focusing lens and a flare cone. So those are probably like different parts. I was talking about blasters. That's probably different parts for like a blaster. There were like 12 or 16 different descriptors that could be applied to a resource or an item. Things like toughness and conductivity and overall quality. And, I made up volatility. There were just so many different things. And the arrays went from 0 to 1,000. So you could have a whole bunch of copper of 990 conductivity, say, and it would be very, very valuable until a spawn of 995 spawned somewhere in the galaxy, and suddenly you had the second best available. And it might make only a couple of percentage points difference in the final outcome. But people are always willing to pay a premium for the best of the best of the best with honors. Where are we off to? Looking for... Not seeing. Let's see, the one we haven't used yet is... No, we've used all of them. What is it again? We're finding a MacGuffin. All right, how does one find a MacGuffin? Oh, there we have it. There's the. Look, the icon. It's me. It's a magnifying lens. So somebody's got a nice little house here, nice little shack. Someone else has claimed this property but hasn't done anything with it. Well, they'll develop it later. Maybe sell it to somebody. Perhaps they're property speculators. Pardon me. The menace was destroyed. Due to the inability of this planet's meatbags to take care of their own problems, your servitor guardians have taken it upon themselves and have deferred your world of this menace. This has been noted for our records. So they murdered the world boss. A lot of trees. I'm into the hedgerow country. Oh, yeah, that's somebody has dug a cave. Let's see what we're supposed to do. Sorry, find a MacGuffin. Sorry about the shooties. It's not my fault. Terraformer. I need permission to do that. Interesting. Need permission to do that here. Really? This is somebody's property. What over here? Need permission. Interesting. That was a mysterious thump. How does one find a MacGuffin? Terraformer wasn't working. Harvester? Nope. Well, let's see what's required then to find. Let's see. Soil treatment, social and wounds. Social and wounds, yeah. We all have some social wounds. I mean, junior high school. Middle school. Refining. Shows you that things like limestone can be refined into a bunch of different materials. Resources. Crafting, basic crafting. Homesteading, earn your homestead. Camping, power-ups, we got some of those. Combat tips, shields and helix. Combat weapons. Haver, Instaformer, Fabricator. Chronophaser, melting, eroding, and lithifying. Chronophasing. That's the flow chart. You don't often see flow charts in a game. For instance, you can change one material into another. So you can heat sand and turn it into glass, or erode glass and turn it into sand. You can erode sand into clay soil. You can erode quartzite, I can't make that out. It is quartzite. You can erode that into that. So here's where you can basically convert certain types of materials into other materials. Depositor. Terraformer. Scanning for resources. The hopper. Scan, maybe that's what I have to do. Xylo slicer for cutting and sectioning trees. Pruning shears. Harvester. Let's try the terraformer. Prospect? Well, it's pointing towards where there's aquamarine, but I don't know how I'm supposed to find the thing I'm supposed to find. I mean, it's not very far away. Oh, there it is. I'm trying to collect it. Almost there. Really close. So close. This is a bit finicky. How about if we zoom in? Right. Not letting me collect. Can't use that. How about the harvester? Pathfinder? Yep, I can't collect it. There is no way, despite the fact it says collect, and I'm hitting the button. Holding it down doesn't matter. It hates me. I have no choice. We have abandoned it. We'll head back to town then. I'm not sure what the problem was with that. Oh. I have a Pathfinder. It has found something. We'll grab some easy, free, cheesy experience points. Easy, cheesy, freezy. Yeah. I'm glad to see some larger establishments. Oh, there's a stage up there that someone has made. I assume it's a stage. It says stage. I have 658 Klaatuv. And one strawberry. Let's try one more quest. I want to do another find quest is the question. It is the question. It's a question. Yeah, that is... Oh, power up the refinery. So, let's see. Glass. I'd need silica ore. Oil, I'd need sedimentary rock or wood. To make plastic, I'd need oil. Ceramic, clay, coal, wood, and home options. I don't have permission. That is correct. I do not have permission. I've never let that keep me from redecorating somebody's house in the past. Survey, find a MacGuffin. Did I try it? The last MacGuffin was a tier 2. I'm going to try a tier 1 MacGuffin. Because I have not successfully found one. I mean, I found one, but there wasn't anything I could do with it. Now, is that the exact same MacGuffin? Is my question. I will be disappointed if that is the case. I don't think so. I'm not disappointed. Let's pull out our gun. Not in the exact same place. No, it's not. Oh, and this time we actually have an object. Dump, dump, up a dump. The dreaded Ix and Kurth has been spawned somehow. An insectoid monstrosity has risen from below ground. Save us or run, but make a decision. Ba-doop, doop, doop. I could do without that sound. Every notification. Alright, well, we have found a MacGuffin. It was not a particularly challenging thing to do. So my assumption is the other one was just basically stuck below the geometry in an area where I couldn't dig. Alright, I want to waste something. It's going to be a mostly harmless Artie Hog. $255 meters in that direction. This will probably be the last thing I'll do this evening. This is Stars Reach, the game in early alpha. Made significant improvements over time. Whether it'll make it to the finish line or not, time will tell. Where are you? Oh, Artie Hog. I'm not seeing an Artie Hog down there on the ground. How about over here? I do see something moving. Oh, I fell down a great big hole in the ground. Where is he? Where is he? Got it. Didn't see that there was a hole in the ground. There was a hole in the ground, guys. Another big one. That was not especially felicitous use of the grappling hook. So I think I'm going to call it here. I just wanted to give this one another go. I can see where there have been a lot of improvements, and I think you can actually, you just look around here. This is all player-made structures and stuff. It's coming along. Still has a long way to go, but it does appear to be coming along. I can certainly see that I see a number of improvements in the game systems. But I am going to call it here. I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. But I want to thank all of you guys for hanging out with me this evening. As always, I am very, very appreciative. I should be back on Monday at the usual time of 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, middle of the night in Europe, morning in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand with the standard nonsense. Maybe a Guild Wars 2 key farm? Not sure. Probably next Friday, I will be joining the Horde in PoE 2 and regretting my life choices. But that's the only sort of semi-solid, let's call it gelatinous plan that I have for next week so far. Again, thank you guys for hanging. Hopefully you'll see me soon. I'll be back on Monday. No Lens tomorrow. He will not exist, which seems like bad news for him. But we'll be back on Monday. Again, thanks for hanging, guys. Take care. And since I won't be back on Sunday, let me get ahead of myself and say, as always, try to set a positive goal for the people who hang out here. I hope your upcoming week, Monday on, doesn't suck. Back on Monday. Take care and ciao for now. Good night, guys.